皆さん、こんばんは。私は Matthew in Nihon です。Good evening, everyone. This is Matthew in Nihon, and for the first time in a while, I'm coming to you with a new video. You might be asking what this is. Well, this is called Nihonshu. This specific Nihonshu is called Suige, or the Drunken Whale. It is one of my, well, not one of, my absolute favorite alcohol. When I first turned 21, I was fortunate enough to live next to the very first American owned and operated sakekura, or Nihonshu brewery. And when I was there, they taught me about the different flavors, the different grades, and quite a few different things. However, after coming to Japan, I've discovered that they were teaching me a simplified version of the history of Nihonshu and how it's made. But the basics are still correct. Now you might be wondering why I'm telling you this. Well, that's because this video is officially the beginning of my new series of Nihonshu reviews. This specific video will be used to just give you the basics, Nihonshu 101, as it were. A little history maybe, and just try to make sure that you guys have the information you need so that in the future, when I provide feedback or review different Nihonshus, you'll know what I'm talking about. Because Nihonshu is, it's a very complicated alcohol, but it's a very good and nuanced drink with so much history and culture behind it that I mean, as much as I love it, I'm still a beginner myself. In future videos, I intend to explore more of the history of Nihonshu, and I would like it if you would join me for that ride. So, why don't we get started? First, what is Nihonshu? Nihonshu, in simple words, is a rice wine. It's made from 3 different ingredients. The main ingredients would be koji, a kind of mold that's used to help ferment with the fermentation process. Rice, like so. And water. Now, 2 important factors in all Nihonshu is the water. Or one is the water. If you don't have good water, if you don't have good, clean, fresh water, do not try to make Nihonshu. You will ruin it. It will not taste good in any way. And the same applies for rice. In fact, there are some similarities between wine and rice, or between wine and Nihonshu. In that, like with a lot of wines, they tend to have these really premium style grapes, and in Nihonshu, they have something called shuzo kotekimai, or shuzo kotekimai, which is sort of a specially bred rice that's just great for making high quality Nihonshu. Now, those are the rice, water, and koji are the 3 main ingredients, but sometimes different Nihonshus can use yeast or distilled alcohol, sometimes sugar, different things to change the flavor profiles. They also tend to affect the grades. For example, the rice you see here that I'm holding up is a, standard store-bought white rice. But Nihonshu is made from, full brown rice. And then it undergoes sort of a grinding, polishing process. And depending on how far they polish it, how much they polish it, it really affects the end quality and flavor of the Nihonshu. Same with water and the koji. Like there's a wide range of factors that results in such a wide spectrum of flavor for Nihonshu that when I try to introduce other people to it, the best comparison I can think of is it's sort of like an herbal tea or just like a tea in general. I mean, with wine, you've got a range and variety as well, but with Nihonshu, you can have so many flavors. For example, one of my favorites was a Nihonshu from the Yoshinogawa company called, at least in English, it was called the Winter Warrior. And when you drank it, I swear it tasted like fresh snow melt with a hint of kind of a mossy quality and almost a pine note to it that just made it seem like you were drinking alcohol made from water that was running from a fresh spring in Alaska. It's difficult to explain beyond that. But it can also be very, very sweet with a plum style flavor. So there are a lot of varieties, and I mean, as the series goes on, I hope to explore more of them with you. So I guess that brings us to the main two types of Nihonshu. There's Tokutei Meisho Shu, which generally means special designation Nihonshu, and that's all of the higher quality caliber Nihonshus. And then there's Futsu Shu, which is generally like the lower quality Nihonshu that you'll often get in stores or restaurants that's served hot. Sometimes the higher quality stuff is also served hot, but it almost ruins the flavor. Of course, there's some disagreement on that. So, yeah, I mean, that's mostly the gist of it. Of course, there are a few other types. There's Junmai, which Junmai Nihonshu is sort of the organic Nihonshu. It's made strictly from the rice, water, and koji, and maybe some yeast, but no other ingredients are added to it. And that's what makes it Junmai. That's what makes it just all natural. Then there's something called Honjozo, which I personally don't think I've tasted yet, but I will. And that's basically that's the base three. That's, you know, the rice, water, and koji. But they also add a distilled alcohol that, I mean, changes the flavor, presumably. And then after that, you run into ginjo and daiginjo, which is entirely based on the rice polish. So if you were to take a grain of rice and give it a polish of, you know, maybe 60%, that would be ginjo. And when I say 60%, I mean 40% of the rice is taken off and left in kind of a clean, like a white granule. And that makes ginjo, which tends to be more nuanced. Maybe it can be on the sweeter side, but it can also be dry and have a wide range. The Winter Warrior that I was mentioning earlier, ooh, my phone is deciding to be a putz. The Winter Warrior that I was mentioning earlier is a form of ginjo. Now, daiginjo. Daiginjo is made when they take the rice and they polish it up to 40%, or they take 60% of the outer shell off of the grain. And that results in a Nihonshu that is just the top tier, the best Nihonshu you can find. At least, generally that's agreed on. Some people prefer different styles. If ginjo has layers of interaction between the different notes and flavors, like the Winter Warrior I mentioned earlier, daiginjo, when done well, has layers on top of layers on top of layers, and it is remarkably clean and remarkably complex. And the best part about it is that it's not like wine where you have to get past the tannins or the taste of the fermentation to get to that subtlety. It's right there. It's immediate. So, that is Nihonshu 101. In the future, I will give you a little bit of history behind Nihonshu. I think I'll try to introduce little nuggets with every episode I do. And yeah, I hope you stick with it, and I hope you enjoy this series. Until then, remember, always be willing to go beyond the horizon. And I'll talk to you next time. Take care. Oh, and also everyone, if you like my content, please be sure to click like, hit subscribe, and leave a comment. I would like to know what you guys think. I'm obviously new to this, so I appreciate feedback, and I'll continue to do my best. I'm filming this from a phone, so the quality is not the greatest. If I can get this series somewhat more regular, I will attempt to maybe set up a Patreon so I can see if I can get a little money coming in to upgrade my equipment and provide a better product. Yes. Oh, and I will also be providing a link with some basic history and information about Nihonshu in the link below, or in the chat below. So click the link. And yep. Take care, everyone.